The summer heat hung heavily over Maplewood Lane, where the air smelled faintly of fresh-cut grass and the sounds of children's bicycles clinking echoed down the street. Life on that block had always been predictable: quiet suburban rhythms, barbecues on weekends, and neighbors who waved politely but rarely ventured deeper into one another's lives. But everything changed the day Jerry moved in next door. Jerry Mitchell was in his mid-30s, broad-shouldered, with a kind of steady calm about him that drew people in without effort. He had sandy brown hair that caught the sun and green eyes that seemed to notice everything without judgment. He wasn't flashy, not the type to seek attention, but when he carried boxes into his new house, every neighbor found themselves glancing his way more than once. Among those watching from the porch that afternoon were two sisters, Emily and Sarah Brooks. Emily, the older of the two, was 29 and practical, with her dark hair tied neatly back as she balanced a notebook on her knees. She was a planner by nature, the kind of woman who always knew what time the bills were due, or when the car's oil needed changing. Sarah, on the other hand, was her opposite. At 26, she had an airy spirit, blonde hair that tumbled freely over her shoulders, and a heart that seemed forever caught between dreaming and chasing something new. "Looks like someone interesting finally moved in," Sarah said, nudging Emily with a grin. Emily barely glanced up from her notes. "You don't even know him yet." Sarah tilted her head, studying Jerry as he lifted a box with ease. "Don't need to. You can tell a lot about a man by how he carries things." Emily rolled her eyes. "You've read too many romance novels." But Sarah wasn't joking. Over the next few days, she found herself drifting toward the porch every time Jerry appeared outside, watering his lawn, fixing something in the garage, or chatting with passing neighbors. Emily noticed, of course, but she didn't comment, not yet. The real turning point came one Saturday morning. Jerry was struggling with a ladder, trying to hang new shutters on the front of his house. Sarah, sipping her iced tea on the porch, called out before Emily could stop her. "Need a hand with that?" Jerry looked over, his face breaking into a warm smile. "Wouldn't say no to a little help." Before Emily could suggest otherwise, Sarah set down her glass and bounded across the yard. Emily watched from a distance as Sarah held the ladder steady, laughing easily with Jerry as though they'd known each other for years. There was something effortless in the way they connected, like two puzzle pieces slipping together without trying. Later that evening, when Sarah returned inside, her cheeks were still flushed. Emily raised an eyebrow. "Well?" Sarah's smile was dreamy, the kind Emily hadn't seen in a long time. "Jerry gives me everything I need." Emily froze at the words. They weren't said lightly. Sarah wasn't the kind of person to fall so quickly, at least not usually. But there was conviction in her tone, as though in Jerry she had already found something rare, something steady, dependable, maybe even safe in a way she had always secretly longed for. But Emily couldn't shake the strange twist in her stomach when she heard it. Over the next few weeks, Jerry became part of the sisters' daily life in ways neither had expected. He joined them for coffee on the porch, carried groceries when he spotted them returning from the store, and fixed the squeaky hinge on their front gate without being asked. Sarah glowed in his presence, her laughter louder, her steps lighter. She began spending more and more time next door, helping Jerry unpack, decorating his living room with small touches she insisted he needed, and sitting with him late into the evening. Emily told herself she was happy for her sister. That's what she should be, happy. But she wasn't. She couldn't deny the way her own heart raced when Jerry spoke directly to her, or the way his kindness seemed to linger even when Sarah was the one at his side. She noticed how he listened carefully when she talked, how he remembered details from conversations they'd had days earlier, and how his eyes sometimes lingered on her just a second too long. It wasn't right. It wasn't fair. But feelings rarely were. One evening, as the cicadas sang in the humid dusk, Emily found herself sitting on the porch alone. Jerry strolled over, hands in his pockets, looking tired but content. "Sarah around?" he asked. Emily shook her head. "She went out with friends." Jerry leaned against the railing beside her. For a moment, they sat in silence, the air thick with unspoken things. Finally, Jerry said softly, "You're quiet tonight." Emily forced a small laugh. "Just thinking."
About what?
She glanced at him, then quickly looked away. About how fast everything changes. Jerry studied her, his expression unreadable. Change isn't always bad. Emily didn't answer, but deep down, she wondered if he could hear the storm building inside her.